What do you make of the latest twist in the farce of the Bibby Stockholm? It's basically the only boat they've managed to stop.
Absolutely, nicely put. I mean, it is just the latest instalment in a catalogue of catastrophe, is it not? And it begs well, a million questions, actually, the first of which is exactly when were the health checks on the water actually initiated, and when did the government get the answer? And how come that they had to leave it until they actually got a few people on it before they shipped them off again? But it fits into this absolute disaster in terms of PR for the government, because it's the icing on the cake, or the something extremely unpleasant in the sarnie, I suppose, to pick up on your earlier conversation. The government decided this was a small boats week. Brilliant idea. Starmer's away, so let's big up how well we've done with it. And we find that what they've actually done is just cocked it up at every possible turn. But behind all this is the question of why is this such a widespread problem? And the answer is that they're getting on for 180,000 people awaiting their claims being processed. And why is it taking so long? And the answer to that is, according to the official inspector, that in the Home Office there are not enough staff. The staff they've got are not properly trained. There's a huge turnover because morale is low. Our colleagues at Sky News have worked out they need to work 3 times as fast to make any serious headway in all this. And I mean, what it boils down to is they can't actually seem to get the staff. Now, just imagine a chief fire officer saying, you know, we'd love to put out all these blazes in people's homes and save their lives and all that stuff, but we just can't get the staff. Does that wash? Answer, no, it does not.
Peter, I mean, this is almost farcical at this point, isn't it? As you said, it's Small Boats Week, and this is something that's meant to stop the boats, and the migrants have barely been on there a week. How does this reflect on the government, do you think? There's one Conservative minister going unnamed in the papers today saying that Suella Braverman, she needs to be sacked.
Well, I mean, I suspect that there is going to be a bit of a groundswell against her because of the fact that at every turn she has called it wrong, and for all the sort of the breathing fire rhetoric, and we have our esteemed colleague Lee Anderson saying if they don't like boats they should F off back to France, which is, I think, is a pretty incendiary remark. It fits with her sort of rather sort of bare knuckle approach to debate, but it actually, I have to say, it does rather lower the entire tone, as well as exposing pandering, if you like, to a certain undercurrent of racism, which there's got to be, and which I'm sure will anger those on the Liberal wing of the Conservative Party quite considerably. So Suella Braverman's days as Home Secretary, I mean, she was originally brought in because she was a sort of a handy sort of sop to the right wing of the Tory party, but I suspect she is fast running out of time, and next time there's a reshuffle, I would be anything but amazed if Suella Braverman gets the call from number 10 to say bye. You
know, Peter, there are accusations that Genric, of course, was on his jolly in Turkey, giving 3 million quid to the Turks to try and clamp down on the manufacture of boats. He was away. As you say, there's the work from home culture being blamed because there weren't enough civil servants keeping an eye on the ball in the office. And then there's talk about, were the unions politically motivated? The fire unions on the fire report, and then the health and safety people, legionnaires. I've been in an office block that had legionnaires before. All we do is turn the taps on and flush it out. It's not actually fatal. No one was infected. Does any of that matter anymore? Or is this boiling down to the fact that whatever they try, the 100,000 mark has been reached illegally this week? They can blame the ECHR, they can blame Turkey, they can blame Keir Starmer, they can blame the charity, they can blame anybody they want. But this has been a calamitous, systemic failure.
Precisely. And I mean, sort of, and then you sort of go back. I mean, the Prime Minister has known from the outset, I would like to hope, because he's an assiduous kind of guy, that there are systemic problems within the asylum processing system. And you can't help but wonder whether it was a bit of a an unwise call on his part to include stopping the boats as one of his key priorities. I mean, you don't have to big things up. I mean, there's also you could big up people eating weird sandwiches if you like, and everyone will start talking about weird sandwiches, as indeed you lovely people have been earlier on this morning. But once you get people going on a subject, then obviously you need to get it right. I mean, you know, you look at sort of everyone's been talking about Barbie just lately because there's been the Barbie film and the product's been around for 50 years. But once you set the ball rolling, it's pretty hard to stop it. And so if the Prime Minister has simply not gone big on small boats in the first place, we wouldn't be hearing so much about it, and the government would not be so utterly exposed as it is to the charge of complete, utter, and abject incompetence.